Warning. I am not a professional and I have no idea what I'm doing. If I come across as thinking too highly of myself or that I know better than people, I don't. I really... So anyway, here's why you guys suck at Muck. Sup morons, my name's Windette and welcome back to Idiot Central. Today we're taking a look at a game created by this guy, who's built like a noodle and looks like he drinks way too much milk. Apparently this one-man army has managed to create an entire multiplayer gaming experience that is totally worth having. And incredibly breakable. Given that this indie title has somehow amassed over 3.5 million downloads, I'm going to assume that all of you have at least given it a shot, and probably spent the entirety of your adventure fucking dead. Now with all that done and dusted, first of all, context. Hi, I'm Windette. You likely know me from my incredibly kind and patient guides to Hollow Knight, or perhaps from my streams, where my chat and I have a lot of fun and don't want to kill each other. If you happen to be one of the people who have played Muck, or perhaps know somebody who won't shut up about it, please show them this video, so that they can receive our love and support, and get verbally kicked into the fucking ground. Okay, so let's get started. This game is fucking broken. The movement is ridiculous, the tutorial is completely useless, and there are even people speedrunning it. But this much was obvious. This one-man army has managed to make it in a matter of months. Of course it's ridiculous. So let's start with the basics. Part 1. Tutorial. The first thing you idiots get met with when you load into the game is a prompt to go and pick up a rock and pretend that this game is instead called a synonym for metal decay or something. After collecting enough wood to make what is definitely not a crafting table, plonk it down, create bark for some reason, craft your first set of tools, and yeah, boring. This is all just basic progression. Nobody actually wants to play the game this way. We're playing Rogue Craftier right now. We gotta go fast. Part 2. Speedrun. Here's the basic order of operations to get started in this game. First up, spawn in, find a rock, stumble across this weird statue and click on it. Spawn in 3 enemies you weren't prepared for, run around hopelessly for 10 seconds and fucking die. Take 2. Spawn in, find a rock beside this body of water. Decide that swimming looks like a lot of fun right now, realize that you can travel at Mach 5, forget that you need oxygen to survive and fucking drown. Take 3. Spawn in, ignore the rock, look around frantically to find a settlement, locate one, start looting all the chests, open the chief's chest accidentally, and begin to get slaughtered by a horde of angry NPCs. Okay, it's clear that this isn't working. Let's try something else. Part 3. Balancing. Let's spare your limited brain cells for a minute, and instead of recounting the multitude of ways you've already died in this game, let's talk about the completely non-linear progression. You'd think that given this game takes elements from Minecraft, Rust, and other survival games, that picking up a rock and collecting basic resources would be the first step that you need to complete. Nope! Or perhaps you remembered that this game also takes elements from various roguelikes like Risk of Rain 2, and that collecting items is actually the first step you need to complete. Wrong! Collecting resources is fine and all, but given that this game has an exponential difficulty curve and that your actual main objective is to find a ship, fill it with shit, and sail off to fight a fucking dragon, the first thing you actually want to do in an optimal playthrough is find a settlement and scavenge for a weapon either in one of the nearby chests or by trading for it. Now you can go to one of those weird looking statues, kill the mobs that spawn from them, and then take the free items that go along with their pocket change, and you finally started making some progress. Settlement chests are notorious for having basic tools and food hidden in them, so this is a brilliant way to start off a run. Collecting power-ups is the fastest way to improve at breaking inanimate objects and various creatures' bones. Collecting resources is the fastest way to progress your unlockables and finish the ship, and by the time you've worked all this out, you've already died 14 separate times and thrown your own cat out the nearest window. Okay, this isn't getting us anywhere. Let's talk mechanics. Part 4. Movement. One of the things I'm really happy about is that the engine this game was built on allows for the conservation of momentum. To say it in a way that won't fry your brains out, fast thing keep, go fast unless stop. Basically, if you're traveling at a pretty decent speed and don't A, touch the ground for too long, B, try to change directions, or C, fly headfirst into the nearest tree, you won't slow down. This makes things like jumping with really precise timing and power-ups like the jetpack super useful. Couple this information with the fact that moving on a diagonal is faster when sprint jumping, and that not holding down the sprint key whilst airborne will retain your stamina, turns out you can cover some pretty insane distances. And for some absurd reason, while running in knee-deep water only lowers your speed to numbers nearing your IQ, the second your head dips below the surface, your character seems to believe it's grown fins and begins moving faster than it does on land. This alone would be strange enough, but it doesn't stop there. Aside from the fact that the swimming animation is literally just a T-pose, if we take a look at the combat for half a second. What the fuck is this? Why is spinning around in circles one of the most effective combat strategies? I don't understand. Part 5. Upgrades. So here are some of the things I've noticed from playing Muck. Firstly, that you need to collect pretty much every resource type in the game in order to finish the ship, and the second thing I noticed is that armor seems practically useless. It can't just be me who sees this seemingly important part of the game as a colossal waste of time. It takes like 50 resources to create a full set, and by the time you've smelted up enough to make one, you've already got the next best material and have to start smelting that instead. It doesn't help either that most of the bosses in this game will just remove half of your health bar in a single attack, meaning that you may as well just prioritize dodging over everything else.
Please forgive me!
Sure, if you have an abundance of resources, then making armor is totally fine, but upgrading your weapons to kill everything faster seems like a much more efficient workaround than making yourself harder to kill.
Just get the spear.
As a matter of fact, upgrading your pickaxe and axe seems to be one of the most efficient ways of dealing more damage in general, and you don't even need to worry about getting a better sword or hell, even one at all before you reach this blue rock.
Please get the spear.
Hang on, it might even be more efficient.
For fuck's sake, please just kill the chieftain and craft the spear!
Or hell, even find it in one of these chests. It deals more damage than anything else, and it only requires dark oak wood and a spearhead to craft. This thing is busted. It deals the same amount of damage as Grok's sword, and that requires at least 2 items that you can only find if you're lucky.
Hey, Danny, it seems a little unbalanced.
This thing is broken! Part 6. Endgame. So you've somehow reached a point where you have a decent weapon, some food, have somehow stumbled your way into beating a boss or two, and now you want to leave the island. Here's what you gotta do. Grab a shitload of wood, a bunch of these flowers, over a stack of wheat, some gold, some iron, actually just all the mineral types. Make sure that you've got at least green tools, otherwise you won't be collecting any dark oak or rubies anytime soon. With the majority of your resources collected, you can finally start fixing the boat. Realize that you still don't have enough rocks, go get more rocks. Learn that you also don't have enough meat, beat your meat. Use your last remaining brain cells to figure out how to make rope and flax fibers, and great, you're still missing 5 gems, which are coincidentally hidden behind 5 key boss fights. But it's fine, it's not like they're hard to beat or anything. Okay. That's one down. Once they're all dead, deposit the gems, head to the helm, raise the sails, and set forth for... Is it just me, or are we literally not going anywhere and the island's just sinking into the abyss? And the chest gave up on living. Okay, this is a good start. While you adventure on your pleasant voyage, I guess, completely undisturbed by seagulls or anything with wings, really. Like a dragon. Glad we haven't seen one of those. Whoa, is that a dragon? Oh god, who could have predicted this? Meet Bob. If you've managed to survive the island in all of its glory, then this dude doesn't exactly pose much of a threat. Unlike the other bosses that'll kill you in 2 hits, he, well, does exactly the same, but if you bother to grab a bow and shed load of arrows, then he doesn't exactly last too long up there. Once you've shredded around half of his health bar, he'll decide to come down and crash his cranium into the side of the boat and start flailing his limbs around wildly. A few hits later and he basically just disappears into the ocean, never to be seen again, and you're finally met with the stat screen. Go download the game for free on Steam and knock yourselves out. Maybe play it with friends if you can find someone stupid enough to deal with you for more than 5 minutes. I don't know, maybe throw some suggestions down in the comments section below. It's not like I don't read them. As always, thanks for watching. I'm Windette, you're a moron, and I'll see you idiots next time.